Welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you're new. I'm Becca, and on this channel, I'm right now reacting my way through eating disorder recovery alongside chronic illness, one video at a time. And today, I'm finally reacting to Ren, Illest of Our Time. As many of you saw in the community post, I had several things come up, both physical and mental health-wise, and then learned about the very unexpected sudden loss of a friend that was really close to me in college. So it's been a rough week, but thank you so much for your kindness, encouragement, and understanding on it just kind of taking me some more time to get back to doing this. However, today, I really want to try to distract my brain, and what better way to do that than a bar breakdown? And I have a feeling after doing the hunger that I'm really going to get into this one as well. So without further ado, Ren, Illest of Our Time, let's go after we take our breath that we always take to kind of center ourselves and get ready for this reaction. Let's go.
1, 2, 3, spitting bullets on the beat. I'm a sick little puppy who gets lucky when he speaks. Blessed with a silver tongue, chest with an iron lung. Extraterrestrial tentacles, aliens.
Alright, you know we gotta go over those bars. First of all, those first two lines, 1, 2, 3, spitting bullets on the beat. Like, not only does he spit so precisely and can do it so rapid fire, like even a machine gun, but if you notice the instrumental in the background there, part of that it's got like that, like there were like gunshots almost going off there in the background beat of this here, and you can tell these like almost sirens coming in like that. I just have a feeling this is gonna be off the chain. You know, spitting bullets on the beat, very reminiscent of the instrumental, also reminiscent of the way he actually delivers lines. And then he said, I'm a sick little puppy who gets lucky when he speaks. That, of course, meaning sick puppy, meaning someone who is sort of perceived as crazy or deranged or whatever. Also, of course, with the multiple entendres already, we know he struggles with Lyme disease and other chronic illnesses, so he is literally sick all the time, feels like he gets lucky when he speaks. Could be because he, due to the damage from chronic illnesses, at least in the past, had trouble actually getting words out. I know I've shared in one of the past videos specifically, there were times when I could not even remember my name when my brain damage from Lyme was at its worst, and that's a really scary place to be. But also he's very clearly here saying he gets lucky when he speaks, meaning he gets lucky when he speaks on the mic, when he spits his lyrics, because he has been able to connect with so many people and just have such a genuine presence and vulnerability and versatility. And oh my gosh, I'm so glad that he is exploding right now, because this man deserves all of that and so much more. Blessed with a silver tongue, sort of someone who tends to be pretty eloquent and persuasive in what they're saying. Chest with an iron lung could mean that metaphorically he feels like he's got this breath in him, and or he feels like he's got this weight on his chest. I also believe iron lung is a type of like ventilator, medical device. So again, double meaning there, at least double meaning if not more. I also want to point out, I love the way that he started this here, where he's first just looking down, then he looks up, but he still isn't moving. He's delivering his lines and moving his mouth, but he's like not moving himself at all, and that's very reminiscent to the opening lines of The Hunger, and I just think that's so cool. Let's take it back to get the transition, and we'll keep going.
When he speaks, blessed with a silver tongue, chest with an iron lung. Extraterrestrial tentacles, aliens. Psychopathic tendencies, a pathologic entity. If everything is set in stone, then this is how it's meant to be.
Okay, oh my gosh. So, extraterrestrial tentacles, alien. I think part of that there, obviously, he feels like he is one of a kind. We all know he's one of a kind. He's in his own lane. He can do so many things. He is so versatile. That is very rare for an artist like this. He is truly, I know I'm not the first to say it, so it's a terrible pun on words, but a true Renaissance man, because he can do it all. I think we've seen that. I love the facial expressions that he's making there. He's still not moving a lot, but he's kind of slightly making facial expressions. I think I saw one little like tick in there again, kind of like he did in the beginning of The Hunger. But looking at all of these other people in masks in the elevator here, there's no way I'm going to be able to go over and explain all of them. There's just too much there. I'm sure I will miss a lot of it, but you can see at the beginning we had the pig mask in there again, which we know that symbolizes a lot of stuff, so I'm not going to spend more time on that in this video. We've talked about it in previous videos, but trying to see all the different things here, there are bunch of different animals there. I'm wondering if this is still an allusion to like George Orwell's Animal Farm and all of the socio-political meaning that comes along with that. I also think that it could be he feels like he's kind of an alien, doesn't belong on this earth with humans, so maybe he's in the middle of all of these different animals. Maybe he feels more like an animal when he's getting ready to attack a beat, that is, an animal on the mic. And then I like that he just ended that with, if everything's set in stone, then this is how it's meant to be, meaning if life is determined like this is how it's meant to be, and I'm just going to keep doing my thing in my lane, even if I feel like I'm kind of alien, kind of different from everybody else. I'm just gonna do what I do.
If everything is set in stone, then this is how it's meant to be. elementary, dear Watson, you might find yourself inside the mind of the illest of our time.
Get it poppin', hot rockin', I'm Freddy Krueger, I'm chopping.
Okay, he's getting into this flow here. This flow was in one of the clips he shared on Instagram, so I wanna finish that very first part, then we're gonna dig into this. We're gonna let this play. Elementary, dear Watson, I just love that, because obviously that's a very clear Sherlock Holmes reference there. You might find yourself inside the mind of the illest of our time, who's saying if you inspect enough, if you pay close enough attention, if you dig close enough, if you dig deep enough, then you might find yourself inside the mind of the illest of our time. Again, allusion to chronic illness, also just being sick on the beat and being able to deliver rhymes and lyrics and everything in a way that not a whole lot of people necessarily can. Let's take that back and get into this next flow here.
Mind of the illest of our time.
Get it poppin', hot rockin', I'm Freddy Krueger, I'm chopping. I turn it up to 11, the demigorgon of upping. The strangest thing, I'm the boss when the danger lingers, I'm plotting.
Sweet like a spoonful of sugar, because I'm merry like poppin'. The double.
No man, okay, I think he shared that little last clip there on there, so it wasn't a complete surprise, but I did know the context leading up to it. Oh my goodness, okay. I'm sure I'm gonna miss some things here, but we're gonna get as much as we can. Let's get it poppin', hot rockin'. To me there, I think that has to be one of the kind of more obscure references there has to be to literally Pop Rock's Candy, because I don't think that someone as talented and as smart and as intellectual as he is with his rhymes would put popping and rocking in the same sentence if he weren't making allusion to that candy. And that candy, if you haven't had it, or if you have, you know that when you put it in your mouth, it like fizzes and crackles like crazy. So I'm thinking maybe he's making an allusion to that kind of just like hectic chaos, but also the rapid fire spitting again. He's just so good at delivering that. And I'm Freddy Krueger, I'm chopping. I'm not a huge horror movie fan, but I do know that Freddy Krueger chops people. So I'm just gonna leave that there because I can't dig into horror anymore. That's not my thing. And then that line there, he said, I turn it up to 11, the demigorgon of Vapen, the strangest thing, I'm the boss when. Those lines, first of all, turns it up to 11, the character on Stranger Things, the demigorgon of Vapen, a mythical monster, but also in the show Stranger Things. And then the next line, the strangest thing, I'm the boss when. So again, the way that he is stretching words and doing multisyllabic rhymes, demigorgon of Vapen, the strangest thing, I'm the boss when. And then that's getting ready to go into the next line. So he didn't just end the line on that rhyme, although he nailed the flow there with those rhymes together. The sentence itself is, of course, going on to the next line, which he says, the danger lingers, I'm plotting, sweet like a spoonful of sugar because I'm merry like poppins. I can't, that's the line that made me smile so much. I knew that line was coming somewhere in the song because it was in a short clip that he shared on Instagram. As someone who grew up with a music teacher for a mother, I have seen Mary Poppins more times than I can count and remember by far, and oh my goodness. He's saying he's sweet like a spoonful of sugar, obviously because the song is spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down, which could also have some references to chronic illness, but we won't dig into that there. However, sweet like a spoonful of sugar, so he's saying he's sweet, and then he says, because I'm merry like Poppins, so I think he could mean merry like happy and all of that, but also merry like Mary Poppins, like the spoonful of sugar. All that jazz. Julie Andrews, shout out, one of the greatest of all time. Let's take it back just a little bit.
The boss when the danger lingers, I'm plotting.
Sweet like a spoonful of sugar, because I'm merry like poppin'.
The double barrel is cocking, a shotgun sheltered the noggin. I'm coughing, catchy bronchitis, you're in your funeral coffin. No stopping, blocking me not when I pick the world up, I'm squatting. And when I take from the rich, I'm in your hood and I'm robbing.
Yes! Oh my gosh, this guy! The double barrel is cocking, a shotgun shell to the noggin. So he's continuing that in rhyme scheme throughout almost this whole section here, and I love it. That just impresses me so much when someone can do that so well. The double barrel is cocking could refer back to the very beginning of the song where he's like, 1, 2, 3 spitting bullets on a beat. So he's getting ready to cock his gun and take shots and shoot with his lyrics there. A shotgun shell to the noggin could be that he's going to be taking others out, or it could be an allusion to maybe feeling like he's kind of been messed with himself a little bit. I think that it's more an allusion to kind of taking others out with his general ability to master anything that he puts out there. And then I love the play on coffin there. I'm coughing catchy bronchitis, you in your funeral coffin. So like coughing, bronchitis, obviously inflammation of your lungs, so you're going to be coughing on that. Funeral coffin, your casket. Again, a fairly easy one to unpack there, but that's just something that I love so much, to play on coffin and coffin. And he says, no blocking, stopping me, not when. Oh my gosh, that line in itself, no blocking, stopping me, not when. Like that rhyme scheme. It's not just at the ends of the lines, and it's happened on other lines too. A shotgun shell to the noggin. I pick the world up, I'm squatting. And when I take from the rich, I'm in your hood and I'm robbing. So I think what he's saying here, he picks the world up by his music. music, he has been a source of catharsis and therapy and connection and community for so many people who haven't really felt understood. And he has put these experiences into musical form for so many people to relate to and resonate to. And it has been so powerful, and it's been an amazing journey to be able to finally join. I know I was a little late to the party, so glad I'm here now. He said, no, you're not blocking me or stopping me, not when I pick the world up. So you don't get to block me, you don't get to stop me when I'm picking the world up with what I'm doing here with my art that is absolutely one of a kind. Then he said, I'm squatting. I think that could be a reference to the fact that right now he's literally in Canada, so he's not where he is at home, so he could be making a reference on like squatter there, someone who is staying somewhere that's not necessarily their home, and or maybe he feels like in the future he hasn't felt quite at home or accepted in the game of rap, so maybe he feels like he's just kind of squatting here and doing his thing, planting himself there. And when I take from the rich, I'm in your hood and I'm Robin. Of course, Robin Hood, the character, both the original story and then the Disney version, who was a fox, but you know, his whole thing was take from the rich and give to the poor. And we know that Rin is very passionate about socio-political commentary and going against the establishments that tend to try to knock us down over and over again, as we recently talked about in the song Dominoes, among many others. He goes off against capitalism and society in many different ways, and all of his songs I think that I've gone over so far. So there's obviously the allusion to Robin Hood there, the character, but also in your hood, in your neighborhood, in your wherever you live, and he's Robin. I don't necessarily think that he's talking about like robbing and stealing things from other people, but he is definitely stealing a lot of the spotlight as he is spitting these rhymes like bullets, like a gun that's cocked. He's letting it go off. When he takes from the rich, he's in your hood and he's Robin. So he's giving back to the people who need lifted up. He's also in your hood, and he is stealing the spotlight, stealing the show right now. I could be off on that, I probably am, but that's one little possible thing that I'm catching there. Goodness gracious, we're a minute into this and he's already going off.
A shotgun sheltered the noggin, I'm coughing, catchy bronchitis, you're in your funeral coffin. No stopping, blocking me not when I pick the world up, I'm squatting. And when I take from the rich, I'm in your hood and I'm robbing.
I also want to point out there, that whole section of the verse that he was spitting, he was tied up and he physically couldn't get anywhere, but the intensity with which he delivered that, the little bit of motion that he was able to do back and forth there, it all added to just the chaotic nature of this and his desire to break out and break free, which I didn't know that was going to be part of the shirt today. And it's like he feels tied up there. I think that it would be naive to think that he wasn't using that as an allusion to how he feels like he's been tied up for so long metaphorically with chronic illness in the game, not getting the recognition he very rightfully deserves until sort of recently. I think that could be part of it there, and that desperation of him just going back and forth. He's trying to break out, so I'm excited to see what's coming up next year.
And when I take from the rich, I'm in your hood and I'm robbing. 4, 5, 6, spit a crucifix.
Editing Becca here. My apologies. The flashiness of the video made it hard for me to analyze this section. Please stick with me for the rest of the song.
I have trouble with things that flash like that. I thought it was really cool the way he just did that visual, the flashing there, the black screen and flashing on his words. I think that was really masterfully executed. It's hard for my eyes to watch that stuff without doing really crazy neurological things. But I love that he has continued the 1, 2, 3 scheme from the very beginning. He's going 4, 5, 6, spit a crucifix. Again, could be that he's going to spit a rhyme that's going to make others feel like they're just crucified, meaning that he's killed them because he has absolutely slayed what he is delivering. The next couple lines just kind of made me smile. He's like, maverick, anti-hero, villain, not protagonist. Maverick mean you're someone who's doing something different. Anti-hero, I think he's painting himself as this anti-hero, as this person who is going against the grain. Also makes me think of Taylor Swift's song that came out last year, and being someone who knows a lot of music, I don't know that he's necessarily a Taylor Swift fan, but that song was really freaking big when her album came out in, October last year, and I think that maybe that could be a little Easter egg in there, because that's a concept that has kind of been talked about in society, so maybe it's fresher in people's minds as well. Then he says villain, not protagonist, so maybe he's feeling like a villain as far as he feels like he has to attack, he has to take this hard offensive attacking stance to be able to do things, and not a protagonist, although I personally think he's a protagonist because he's overcome a heck of a lot and he's still doing this stuff.
Who's the illest, who's the realest, who's the baddest kid? Call the police on this beat before I damage it. A kiddie called Screech on the streets, I'm a masochist. So far from reach, I'm the type to kill a pacifist.
Okay, so this video here, there is so much going on. There's a bunch of fighting here, there's a bunch of physical contact and stuff like that, and sort of just violence in general. I am having trouble digging into all of that because I'm focusing on the words here, but I just wanted to comment on the fact that once again, his videos are perfectly choreographed. He's using whatever space he is filming it any given time is utilized perfectly by him or by anyone else. The music, the motion, all of it just matches up perfectly well and is just so in sync, and I love it. But the lines there, who's the frickin' illest, who's the realest, who's the baddest kid? Call the police on this beat before I damage it. So of course, again, illest there, play on like good, on like the best. Also, he's dealing with a lot of chronic illnesses. Who's the realest? We know he's real. We know he keeps it real in his songs, and he keeps it very real in his personal life and the things that he's sharing, because not a lot of people are that vulnerable and share such real, relatable things. Call the police on this beat before I damage it. So in other words, he's about to tear up this beat. Sort of could go back to like the Robin Hood or just the Robin in general, like causing chaos, causing damage, all of that stuff. You better call the police because I'm about to tear up this beat and they're gonna need to come like save it. And then this next line, I know it has to be a reference to his Ginny, Screech, and Violet trilogy, which I have not listened to yet because I want to wait till I can react to it. But he said, a kitty called Screech on the streets, I'm a masochist. I have to think that there is a meaning there that I can't yet understand fully because I haven't watched that trilogy yet, but there's no way that that's a coincidence. Then he says, on the streets, I'm a masochist. So he's been talking about feeling like he's a villain, and now he's saying he feels like he's a masochist, like he's like a sucker for his own pain, sort of is what that is like, someone who just causes themselves pain, whether or not they mean to. A lot of times masochist tends to imply that you do mean to cause yourself pain, or that you even enjoy causing yourself pain. There's a lot that could go into that as well. Whew! Let's get back into it.
A kiddie called Screech on the streets, I'm a masochist. So far from reach, I'm the type to kill a pacifist. Catalyst for chemical combustion, I'm the analyst of metaphor.
Okay, hold on. Wait, that was the pig, wasn't it? That's the pig right here in the scene.
Catalyst for chemical combustion, I'm the analyst of metaphor.
Okay, so yeah, so it's definitely the pig here that we're seeing, and we know the pig signifies capitalism, signifies greed, the medical industry, whatever it is in any given situation, in any given song context, but you can see it's being beaten up here. He's saying, so far from reach, I'm the type to kill a pacifist. I think he's saying that they try to keep us down, they try to pacify us with all the lies that they feed us, but he's just gonna keep reaching until he can like literally kill them and knock them out. As you can see, the person who's in the monkey mask here is like punching the pig in the face there. Oh my goodness, there's so much meaning there.
Catalyst for chemical combustion, I'm the analyst of metaphors and similes and synonyms and alchemist, evangelist. Spread the words I seek like they're cancerous. Pragmatist, think before I speak, then I answer it.
Oh my goodness. Catalyst for chemical combustion, I'm the analyst. That's not the end of the line there. The line and the internal rhymes fit perfectly there, but that goes on once again to the next line. That is part of the sentence of the next line. I'm the analyst of metaphors and similes and synonyms and alchemist. So an alchemist being someone who combines a bunch of different stuff, who works with potions, who works with different materials to put them together to make different things, to make their own creation, much like his Frankenstein line in The Hunger. This song, all of his songs are his work come together, are him putting all of his flows, all of his wordplay, all of his skills, all of his life experience together to create something truly unique. And I kind of love this line because he's saying he's the analyst of metaphors and similes and synonyms. You can tell that he has studied that stuff a lot and he is excellent at it. And I'm also kind of geeking out over it because that's the kind of stuff that I love digging into and love analyzing. So that line just made me smile. Then he says, evangelist, spread the words I speak like they're cancerous. And I think that line there, he's saying spread the words like they're cancerous. You see those people out on corners or out just like going up to people unsolicitedly, which maybe there's a time and a place for that with the right kind of conversations, but never is it appropriate to come from that place of hate and try to cover it in, oh, I love you, so therefore I'm going to show you how much I hate you or hate what you're doing and say that I love you, but really I'm doing nothing but showing hate. That is very cancerous for someone to come across that, especially if they're not a follower of Jesus and they come across someone who claims to be and is doing something like that and making them feel horrible. That's not going to exactly give them any reason to dig any further into who Jesus is or what the Christian faith is at its actual core. And I also think that ties into the next line because he uses the word evangelist. I think he's making a contrast there, evangelist being a lot of the people with like super religious fervor. However, the next line he says pragmatist. I think that's in direct contrast to evangelist. So there's evangelist at the beginning of that line, then pragmatist, because pragmatist is someone who is like rational, logical, trying to think through things on every logical, rational level, trying to reason through things like that instead of getting wrapped up in the emotional side of things, the religious fervor side of things, and letting that kind of take over. And then think before I speak, then I answer it. So he's literally thinking through all of this, thinking through everything in a logical fashion, trying to think before he says words, but he's also coming up with what he knows he's going to say next. And he's kind of doing that in his own lyrics. He said the line about evangelist and said that there, then the line about pragmatist and then said that there. I love the way that even those two lines illustrate what he is saying in those two lines, at least to me. As with anything, I could be off. I think I'm getting something a little bit there, but please feel free to correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments below. Let's take it back just a little bit here.
Pragmatist, think before I speak, then I answer it. Pull up to the place. When I pull it, bang, I pull it, sang it, shot right into space. Music for the hula. loose on the estate. Call the police and the riot bands, the people wanna play. Hey!
Oh, that was fun to watch. Okay, so I'm wondering if these people who were there in the crowd are the people who were wearing the masks in the previous scene. We're gonna take it back so we can get this section here, but I wanted to point out, it looks like the people that are there in those masks in that particular scene are like kind of trying to hold him back a little so he's not just like snapping and going off. He's saying, pull up, pull up, pull up to the place. When I pull it, bang a bullet, saying it shot right into space. So again, to the illusion of spitting lyrics and metaphors and similes and all things like their bullets, rapid fire. And when he says a bullet saying it shot right into space, I think he's possibly talking about kind of the meteoric rise of his music right now, because I have just seen it exponentially growing, and he is very much like up in the stratosphere right now as far as I'm concerned, as far as artists go. It's amazing. Now let's get this whole section again.
Pull up, pull up, pull up to the place. When I pull it, bang, I pull it, song it shot right into space. Music for the hooligans, let loose on the estate. Call the police and the riot bands, the people wanna play. Hey!
Okay, so there's music for the hooligans, let loose on the estate, call the police and the riot vans, the people want to play, hey. And you saw that switch there from the people being there in masks to the people that were like, I'm assuming supposed to be representing his friends, or at least his friend group, or the people surrounding him, kind of on the streets with him, like the hooligans who are here ready to play, like let's freaking go, again, let's go. But he's also saying, we're gonna tear this crap up, so you better call the police and the riot vans because we're about to go off. You can see it in their energy. You can see it in him at the end there where he's putting his arms out like, come on, come and get me. And then as I just paused it here, getting to the next part, I love that he kind of kept that pose, the transition to here where we're getting ready to watch the next part of it. I love when transitions like that can carry over, and it's just so seamless, and oh my goodness gracious, I love it.
Music for the hooligans, let loose on the estate. Call the police and the riot bands, the people wanna play. Hey! Freedom now has lost all meaning. How can we all be free in a hierarchic breeding ground? The poor get poor a while, the rich get rich in style. I'll be a heretic, killer king, take his crown.
Let's talk about that for a minute. Man, my brain. So the first lines of that there, he said, freedom now has lost all meaning. How can we all be free in a hierarchic breeding ground? Again, are we surprised that he is hitting to the heart of some really, really difficult issues here? Because freedom has lost all meaning, meaning sure, maybe we live in a free world, in a free country, depending on where you live. I can only speak from the perspective of an American because that's where I live, but I definitely feel like this free country has become exponentially less free and more divided. And then he poses the awesome question there that I think we all need to be asking, which is, how can we all be free in a hierarchic breeding ground? Because we literally live in a society where there are people who are so unimaginably rich that we can't even comprehend their wealth. And then there are people who have literally nothing. And there are so many people in the world who are trying to speak out against that type of hierarchy. But we are sold this lie. We are taught from such a young age from society, if you don't have X, Y, and Z, if you can't do this or that, then you're lower. And these people, they're more important. These people get the opportunities because they have the money to do it. These people get the chances. They're the ones that deserve it. And you, sorry, you're just out of luck because you don't have the same resources. That's just not okay. There's no way that we can all be free when there are people at the top oppressing the people at the bottom, whether unintentionally or intentionally. And a lot of times it's intentional, but sometimes I think it can also be unintentionally. It still is the same result. There's literally not the same level of freedom for everyone, as much as we would like to believe that there is. Then he says, the poor get poorer while the rich get rich in style. Poor get poorer, the rich get richer. That's a line, I believe, from Percy Shelley. I've heard many artists reference it over the years and use it in different ways. There's one Eminem song that's coming to mind that I'm blanking on the lines right now, but I think it's actually a hook that Skylar Grey sings on an Eminem song where she's saying, the poor get poorer, the rich get richer. We're just freaking sick of it, or something like that. And that's what he's saying. The poor get poorer. Those people at the bottom that we're talking about, they do continually get poorer because there's no one lifting them up. He's talking about how he wants to be the person lifting up those people who feel like they're on the lowest rungs of society, much like Robin Hood. And the rich get rich in style. I think there could be a couple things there. I don't know if he's making a play on In Style the magazine there because it has all the celebrities and stuff in it, but the rich get rich in style. They literally, that's what it is. If you have all this money, you can buy whatever you want. Buy all the flair, buy all the clothes, buy all the material possessions, keep going up, keep following all the trends, keep doing everything that society tells you need, and keep accumulating this wealth. And so you're continually getting rich while also taking from some of the resources that could be allocated to helping other people actually succeed in this world. Did not mean to get a little heated here. Literally overheated physically, and also my brain right now, I'm a little, I love that he goes so hard to society and the things that so many people don't talk about. Let's take it back a little bit here.
I'll be a heretic, killer king, take his crown. Top of the throne, top of the kingdom I own, top of the streets that I roam, top of the dome, spitting for Britain I shown, buzz like a cellular phone, I pin like Tyson.
Okay, all right. Oh my gosh. I know we're pausing it here, but oh, there's just so much. There's just so much. As always, there's just so much with this guy. After the rich get rich in style line, I think he was making another allusion back to like the general Robin Hood, robbing from the rich to give to the poor, all of that, because he said, I'll be a heretic, kill a king, and take his crown. So in other words, he'll do whatever it takes to help the people who need help instead of the people who are just constantly and continually inflating themselves and their own ego and their own bank accounts. He says, top of the throne, top of the kingdom I own, top of the streets that I roam. So I think with those lines, he's saying he feels like he is on top of the throne in this kingdom he owns, meaning his kingdom of what he has created, his art, his music, his delivery, this community that he has connected internationally with his art. And then top of the streets that I roam. We know that he does a lot of street music. He's done a lot of that over the years. So I think he's saying, you know, maybe I'm not at the top of people who are just accumulating wealth, but with the wealth that I have been able to have, I'm going to be here on the streets at the level helping people, trying to be the king, meaning the person that they can actually look to and depend on to help them, instead of someone who is just trying to rule and put them down and make them feel less than.
I'll be a heretic, kill a king, take his crown. Top of the throne, top of the kingdom I own, top of the streets that I roam, top of the dome, spitting for Britain I shown, buzz like a cellular phone.
I also love the flow that he's got there. He has so many flow switches in just about every song that we have watched, specifically in his rap songs, obviously. I just love the way that he switched that up there. The top of the throne, top of the kingdom I own, top of the streets that I roam, top of the dome, spitting for Britain I shown, bars like a cellular phone. What? We went over some of those lines, but part of that there, top of the dome, meaning he's spitting lyrics off the top of the dome. He can freestyle, he's coming up with these things out of his own mind. He's not stealing it from anybody else. He's not even necessarily planning everything ahead. Sometimes he's just going off the top of the dome and saying what he wants to say. Freestyle rap is a very difficult skill to have because you have to like be super quick and think on your feet to put these words and lyrics and meanings and all of this stuff together. And I think that's definitely something he's saying there. And then I love what he follows that with spitting for Britain. I show him bars like a cellular phone. Obviously bars on your phone tell you if you've got service or not. So he is from Britain. We know that. He's spitting these lyrics and he's showing him bars. That's just a fun little analogy he used there. And also on that line about Britain there, he does another thing with the words there. Instead of stretching the words out, he kind of pushes them together. So you've got top of the throne, top of the kingdom I own, top of the streets that I roam, top of the dome, spitting for Britain I show him. So instead of show him, he has combined those together to make that once again fit perfectly with the line. Spitting for Britain I show him, bars like a cellular phone. Oh my gosh, that's so hard to do. And it's just so impressive.
Top of the kingdom I own, top of the streets that I roam, top of the dome, spitting for Britain I shown, buzz like a cellular phone. Hyping like Tyson, an icon, go twice in, left right in, I'm striking, like I'm biting, like a python. Ready,
This line here, hyping like Tyson, an icon, go twice in, left, right in, I'm striking like I'm biting like a python. Again, I think we're dealing with some imagery about fighting here, much like he had in, I believe it was in The Hunger. It was the belter like a welterweight, that line. He was referring to fighting there. Hyping like Tyson, obviously Mike Tyson, and icon go twice in. And I believe that the only person that beat Mike Tyson twice was Evander Holyfield. I'm pretty sure he beat Mike Tyson twice. I know they fought twice there, so I'm not sure if he's saying he's hyping like Tyson, like he's trying to get ready, or maybe other people are, but he feels like he's an icon going twice in, going to attack like Holyfield beat Tyson twice. Maybe that's what he's going in, feeling like Holyfield, like he's going to take out, and or he's just Tyson trying to come in. And he's saying left, right, in, I'm striking, throwing punches there metaphorically or physically if we're going with the video here, like I'm biting like a python. Pretty self-explanatory there. Pythons are also pretty deadly. If you get bitten, you need to get some help because you might not be here much longer.
Hyping like Tyson, an icon, go twice in, left, right in, I'm striking, like I'm biting, like a python. Ready, I'm heavy, I'm Mercury, I am Freddy, so eat my words, fill your belly like alphabet, spaghetti, I am a rap star, don't believe me, the facts are, I spit fast like a NASCAR, don't believe me, then your ass.
And I love how he ended this section, just said, ready, I'm heavy, I'm Mercury, I am Freddy. So again, that Freddy part kind of going backwards in this line. Freddy being an allusion to Freddy Krueger earlier, also literally being an allusion to Freddie Mercury, the artist. Obviously, Freddie Mercury is an icon in his own right as the lead vocalist of Queen, and he's also British as well. I love that he includes so many different celebrities in his lyrics who are also from Britain, because you can tell he has just studied a lot, and it really shows in his delivery and his ability to put things together, and in his just general intellect that you can tell in the way he incorporates all this stuff into the same line. Then in that same line, ready, I'm heavy, I'm Mercury, I am Freddy. So again, we got the Freddy Krueger, got the Freddie Mercury line. Mercury itself is a very heavy element, so that ready, I'm heavy, I'm Mercury, so heavy Mercury. He could also be making an allusion to heavyweight there since he was talking about like the fighting there. So ready, I'm heavy, like fighting. He's Mercury, I'm Freddy, so Krueger, he's also murdering. Like, what? I have a feeling there are even more meanings in that line because that is just so, that one line is just packed so full, and oh my goodness. He goes on to say, so eat my words, fill your belly, like alphabet-y spaghetti. He could have gone with alphabet there. In the lyrics, he actually put in the comment, it says alphabet, but you could very clearly hear there, he said alphabet-y to make it rhyme more with spaghetti, and that's just another little turn of phrase there that I love when artists can incorporate it and it doesn't sound like corny or cheesy. It literally flows and sounds really good. And he's saying, so eat my words and fill your belly because I am giving you this nourishment. I am providing you with this nutrients via lyrics. I'm providing you with the energy that you need to do this. Just go ahead and fill yourself with it like you're eating alphabet-y spaghetti. I love that. Oh my gosh, I love that. Like SpaghettiOs, I guess. He says, I'm a rap star. Don't believe me. The facts are I spit fast like I'm NASCAR. So again, some internal rhymes there, but specifically, I just love the rhyme scheme there. It's just fun. I am a rap star. Could tie to the alphabet-y spaghetti because there are also like SpaghettiOs that are made in different shapes now, I'm pretty sure. Could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure there are some stars in some cans of SpaghettiOs now. So I think that could be a meaning. It could not be at all. I could be totally off on that. Because I'm a rap star. Don't believe me. The facts are I spit fast like I'm NASCAR. And we've seen that. I don't have to explain that. If you've listened to any of his rap, you know that he spits fast, including this song. All right, let's take it back here. My goodness. I'm out of breath just listening to this. So
eat my words, fill your belly like alphabet-y spaghetti. I am a rap star. Don't believe me, the facts are I spit fast like a NASCAR. Don't believe me, then your ass. I don't feel so well.
Okay, that transition there, he goes, don't believe me, then F ya. Ah, crap. And then he's like, you can tell he's going down there and he goes into this acting, which we're going to go back to get this transition, but he starts saying, I don't feel so well. And he's like walking around sick and all of that. It's like he almost got sick as he was delivering those lines. He's like, oh my gosh, I'm not feeling well. Oh crap, here we go. And he's going to this part. So take it back to that transition. The way that he switches between flows, I think I've only ever seen M do it as well. And that's the biggest compliment that I could give anyone being a stan for 20 plus years.
Hey, I am a rap star. Don't believe me, the facts are I spit fast like a NASCAR. Don't believe me, then your ass. I don't feel so well. I don't feel so well. I don't feel so well.
Call a medic for myself. I don't feel so hot, my brother. Aching, shaking, stop then stutter. Things gone wrong, hit by King Kong, Ace, Wonton bomb like Hardy Brothers. I don't feel so fresh, my bro. Things look blurry, speaking slow. Head in Hong Kong, wonton soup is what I have for brains. I know that I...
What? That section. He started off with that flow there was kind of relaxed, that I don't feel so well. I don't feel so well. That's growing in intensity, so he's feeling worse and worse with each time he delivers that line, and then he ends up saying, call a medic for myself. So we know that he deals with a bunch of chronic illnesses, so obviously I think that's a line here, but I think we're also getting ready to hear him go off about being the illest, about being the sickest on the beat, about being essentially the best out there right now, even though I love the fact that he hasn't used the word greatest of our time and instead has used illest because it has that multiple entendre meaning for him in so many different ways. But that flow on that part, oh my gosh, I don't feel so hot, my brother. Aching, shaking, stopped and stutter. Obviously, he's acting out every single one of those words and lyrics that he's saying. He's acting that out with the way he is physically embodying that there. The aching, the stuttering, the stopping, all of that. Things going wrong. He says, things gone wrong, hit by King Kong. A swanton bomb like Hardy Brothers. Now, I think there's a double meaning there. Swanton bomb being a pro wrestling move popularized by Jeff Hardy. The part that I picked up on there was I thought he was making an allusion to the Hardy Boys there, and that still may be there, but that's what he's saying. They're like, that's like a really powerful ending all your opponents type of move, I'm pretty sure.
Aching, shaking, stop then stutter. Things gone wrong, hit by King Kong, Ace, Wonton bomb like Hardy Brothers. I don't feel so fresh, my bro. Things look blurry, speaking slow. Head in Hong Kong, wonton soup is what I have for brains. I know that I
want to spread these tattered wings, hold them high.
Okay, so we're gonna get back into that flow again. We're not gonna miss a transition, but if I let too much play at one time, then I will forget the things that I've noticed. So, I don't feel so fresh, my bro. Things get slurry, speaking slow. So he's talking about feeling ill. It could be his chronic illnesses, again, that are affecting his ability to speak. It could be that he feels like he's been affected by substances. I know he's dealt with some substance issues in the past, not currently. Maybe it's an allusion to that past time. Could just be that he's not feeling well in general and everything just kind of starts not being right, and his words feel like he's slurring, he's speaking slow, which is very much the antithesis of what he said this whole song about how he spits bars like bullets and all of that rapid fire stuff. Head in Hong Kong, wonton soup is what I have for brains I know. So head in Hong Kong, wonton soup is what I have for brains I know. I love that he used that line because it connects back up to the slurry up in a couple lines before, because soup is very like slurry type stuff. Also, you can slurp soup, although I hate slurping sounds, so we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna illustrate that. However, he's feeling like his head is just this big mess of slurred up soup just sloshing around, and he's like, I feel like that's what I have for brains, I know. But I can tell with the next lines that he was saying there, he's getting ready to kind of expand on and or contradict that a little bit. So let's get back to it.
Things look blurry, speaking slow. Head in Hong Kong, wonton soup is what I have for brains. I know that I
want to spread these tattered wings, hold them high. Vanish from the heavens, but I'm knocking on the sky. Living with depression is a blessing in disguise. Never second guessing, intuition getting wise. Want to sink into the pupil of my eye. Travel to the corner of my cornea and mind. Look for all the answers that I never seem to find.
Till then, I guess I'm still the illest of our time.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so we're gonna go back to those lines, but I just want to say his face there in this last section, and especially those last couple or few bars, you can see how sick he is feeling. Now, I'm sure there's some editing done here to make it look like in the video, because I know that he is in a better place health-wise than he was many years ago. However, you can tell that he is just not feeling well there. I know that look. I know that look because I see it in my mirror. More often than not, that's the face I see in my mirror. Not his face, obviously, but that general look of, I can tell I'm not well. I can tell I'm really sick, and I don't even feel like myself. I don't even really recognize myself. The exhaustion and the pain and how drained he is. I can see it all there because I literally feel it just about every day of my life. Oh, that's hard to see on screen. But getting back to the lyrics. And I didn't catch this when I talked about the part before this, but that is what I have for brains. I know, again, wasn't the end of the line because he carried that over to the next set of lines because he's a master at that, as we have discovered. So he says, what I have for brains, I know that I want to spread these tattered wings and hold them high. Vanished from the heavens, but I'm knocking on the skies. He's like, I feel broken, but I know I want to spread my wings. I know I want to spread these broken wings and hold them high, even though I feel knocked down, even though I feel so sick, even though I feel like I am just getting beaten down here. I want to hold these wings up and just hold them up high, and that maybe I feel like I'm banished from the heavens, but I'm knocking on the sky. So he's going high up. He's trying to get there. He is trying to just continue that rise up there. And then the line really got me. It said, living with depression is a blessing in disguise. Never second guessing, intuition getting wise. I want to address that depression line first. Is living with depression a blessing in disguise? I think that there are many answers to that. I think it kind of depends on who you are, the nature of your depression, and whether or not you've been able to find a way to cope with it or overcome it. I do think that it can be a blessing here in Rin's case. I think he's saying it's a blessing because it's been able to help him tap into a lot of these messages and art and music that he wouldn't necessarily otherwise be able to tap into, which has then given him that door and that window to relate to and to connect to so many other people who feel like they're alone in their depression, who feel so isolated, who feel completely hopeless. So in that sense, I think that's one thing he's saying there, is that his depression, even though it's been absolute hell and he feels like he's been banished from the heavens, it's still kind of a blessing in disguise because it's helped him put words to music and art that has helped so many people in ways that maybe no one else has. I think that's one thing he's going for there. I also want to make a point to say that you're under no obligation to just assume that every difficult thing you go through in life is because it's going to make you better or make you stronger or any of that, because that can turn into toxic positivity really quickly. But I do think that if we're able to think of some things that we can see, maybe we see them as negative, but we can find little glimmers of hope, little pieces of blessings within that, it can definitely help us overcome it ourselves, and also, like he's done, connect with so many other people who are in the same boat. I'm gonna go back and listen to the rest of the end of this, and then we'll talk at the very end again.
Living with depression is a blessing in disguise. Never second guessing, intuition getting wise. Want to sink into the pupil of my eye. Travel to the corner of my cornea and mind. Look for all the answers that I never seem to find.
Till then, I guess I'm still the illest of our time.
Okay, my gosh. Another masterpiece. Another masterpiece. Now, quickly before we end this one, which again has gotten pretty long because there are bars on bars on bars, and I will dissect the bars because that's what I love to do. I think with the line, never second guessing intuition getting wise, he's talking about he's had to live through so much pain, through so much depression, through so much just struggles in life. He's had to go through so much that in some ways, if you let it happen, if you try to tap into it, it can literally make your intuition so much stronger than it ever has before. One thing for me specifically, I don't know if he was speaking on this, but for me, my intuition about my physical health issues and about whether or not I can trust certain medical professionals based on the way that they either just kind of give me a vibe or choose some specific words that they say, it's not something that I had before I was dealing with chronic illness and had to be gaslit by more medical professionals than I can count before we found answers. And by nature of having to deal with that, I have had no option but to work on developing that intuition, and I do feel like at this point in my life, it's a lot stronger than it was a decade ago, even 5 years ago. Then the next two lines I love. He says, want to sink into the pupil of my eye, travel to the corner of my cornea and mind. Now, I want to point out there's an Eminem line in the song 3 a.m. that gets stuck in my head more often than I'd like to admit. That song came out in 2009. It still gets stuck in my head. This line does a lot. I love the rhyme scheme that M uses there. I'm sure he's not the only one that has used a similar rhyme scheme, but it's the one that gets stuck in my head. I love that Ren also used a similar scheme, but the M scheme in 3 a.m. says, you're walking down a horror corridor. It's almost 4 in the morning and you're in a nightmare. It's horrible. Right there's the coroner waiting for you to turn the corner so he can corner you. You're a goner. He's onto you.
Editing Becca here, I forgot the last line, which was the whole reason this lyric came to mind. After you're a goner, he's onto ya, it says, out the corner of his cornea, he just saw you run.
That corner and cornea line, I will always, any lyric that includes that play on words there, I will love simply because this line is forever cemented in my brain. But I love the way that Ren delivered his there because I think the line that want to sink into the pupil of my eye, again, could have many meanings, could be want to look into his eyes, want to go deep. Because when you're looking into someone's eyes and you're just staring deep into them, even if you look in the mirror and you just stare at your own eyes and force yourself to do nothing but look in your own pupils, it is an experience that your soul feels, even if you're trying not to. I literally have moments where I have stood in front of the mirror, made myself stand there and stare at my pupils until I felt something. Almost always that ended in tears, but it's a really powerful image. And I think he's saying, want to sink into the pupil of my eye, want to get into the depths of his mind, want to feel what he's doing, travel to the corner of his cornea and mind. So travel to all the corners, to the depths of everything that he is putting together, everything that's in his mind that he's trying to share. He's giving us a vehicle to do that. With this music, he is giving us that vision into his own eyesight, into his own brain, into his own mind. And he says, look for all the answers that I never seem to find. So he's saying, okay, I've got all this up here, but there's still so much I don't have. So you guys want to come in and see if you can help me figure out some of the stuff that I'm still missing? Come into my mind, come into my life here, metaphorically again, or literally, and look for all the answers that I still, for some reason, cannot seem to find, because maybe with your own experiences, you'll be able to find them. Maybe from your perspective, you'll be able to find some of the answers that I haven't. And then he closes it out with, till then, I guess I'm the illest of our time. We've talked about that double entendre already. So again, I'll just wrap this up and say, illest of our time, definitely love the play with the chronic illness aspect, but also the fact that he is just so sick with his skill. I love it. The imagery there where it was so energetic and like fighty for a while. And then by the end, he had literally gotten to this place where you could feel the heaviness. You could feel the weightiness of the sickness, of how exhausted he is, of the toll that chronic illness has taken on his body and his mind. And that's just so darn relatable. That's just so freaking relatable to me. Didn't think I was gonna be crying on this track, so I'm not gonna let myself go completely there, but I also like he's kind of submitting himself there as, till then, guess I'm still the illest of our time. So he's saying, I'm not going away, I'm gonna do my thing. I'm also dealing with all of this crap that is keeping me from being able to find all of the answers I was hoping to find, but come along with me because maybe together we can find them. What a work of art, what a work of human connection. Flows, wordplay, rhyme scheme, multi-entendres, it was all there. He never fails. He never misses. Ren never misses. Write it down. I've only heard a handful of songs now, but write it down. Can guarantee you he never misses. Very thankful I was finally able to get to this song. There was, again, a lot in there. Bars on bars. I expected nothing less knowing that it was a rap song. But I also have an entire reaction to film to NF's album that's going to be released on Friday, April 7th. His album titled Hope, and I'm really excited for that one. So stay tuned. That's coming, as well as more Ren, because I really have a feeling he's going to be my most played artist on Spotify Wrapped this year, because I've basically listened to not much else since I started falling down this Ren rabbit hole. So thank you guys as always for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed the breakdown. If you did and you want to let me know, that's awesome. Let me know down below. If you haven't subscribed to the channel and you want to, go ahead and do that. As always, no pressure. I'm here for your enjoyment, and if you don't enjoy it, feel free to pass on by. On that note, I'll see you in the next one. Take care of yourselves.